Clint, the NFL draft is in the books, and
say more.
What if I told you that we're not the only ones that love them dogs?
No.
Okay, there's a lot of people out there, big fans of the University of Georgia. A lot of Dogs players out there getting paid, Clint. All kinds of interesting stats, interesting numbers, interesting players going to interesting places. Who got the best situation? Who got the worst situation? Why are the Philadelphia Eagles the greatest franchise in the history of the NFL? These are all things that we'll discuss today on the Locked On Bulldogs podcast.
You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Bulldogs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel got all them sports book betting and
Super Bowl futures? You get a Super Bowl future in there?
Let me just go ahead and run that back. I know some people decided that Will Levis was going to be the number 1 pick or number 4 pick in the NFL draft, and you didn't watch football, and you made that bet.
To be fair, the guy that was the number 4 pick in the draft wasn't good at football either.
Also not good at football. But today we are talking about them dogs in the draft. We're talking record number of dogs being drafted. We're talking who landed the best spot, and then we are talking maybe who did not land the best spot. All sorts of prognostication on these picks. Thanks for making us your first listen wherever you listen to audio. Subscribe, like, download. YouTube, get over there, hit that thumbs up, hit that reminder, subscribe there as well. We want to get well past 7,000 by the time season rolls around. That's going to be easy. Let's get 8,000 by the time comes around.
Why
and
not?
Over on the audio side, download that all to heck. We want to see that happen. Daniel.
Yeah.
If you want, if you're a young man in America today.
I'm not, but go ahead. Say more.
And you play football.
I don't, but let's talk hypothetically.
And if you want to get paid and continue a dream onto the NFL,
okay,
there is one answer of where to go to be drafted to make, let me make sure, guaranteed money.
A lot of it.
A lot of multi-millions of dollars.
A lot of it.
Okay. Then you go nowhere else
but
King Kirby's reign and throne in Athens at UGA. Daniel, we have 10 more picks. We have the most draft picks selected in the last 2 years than any other 2-year stretch in the modern draft history. We're going to break and shatter records next year as well. By the way, we're going to talk about that on tomorrow's podcast, so come back for that.
I'll check back in.
You should check back in.
I will.
Daniel, here's where I just want to start.
Yeah, let's ask.
What was the best moment of the draft for you as it pertains to UGA players? There's a lot of them, but what was your favorite?
A lot of good moments. A lot of good moments in that draft, Clint. Did you see the video of Kenny Mack getting the phone call?
Look.
There's a lot of good moments in that draft. I'm talking about I was weeping. I was openly weeping.
Kenny Mack, if you haven't seen it, go find it. Seahawks call him. He's drafted in the 7th.
Pete Carroll on the phone.
Should not have been in the 7th. And Kenny Mack just says, I am that dude. You tell me what to do. I went to Georgia because they're pro style and we do everything that you guys do. You want me to run the ball, catch the ball, block? I don't care. You ask me
Kenny Mack
to do it,
is
and I will
going
do it,
to feast up there. Okay, that's not the best moment of the draft. The Jalen Carter pick was a great moment in the draft. I loved it. I love Nolan Smith's his presser.
Oh, my
in
word.
Philadelphia.
Oh, my word.
It's a great moment in the draft. Why was I always going to say Stetson Bennett, though, Clint? Why was I always going to say that it was Stetson Bennett getting drafted in the 4th round? Clint, this is a man that I was told would never even sniff the NFL. This was a man that I was told would wasn't even fit to be a starting quarterback in the SEC.
Couldn't even hold the jockstrap of starting quarterbacks in the SEC, Daniel.
Would never win in the SEC.
Not twice, though.
Could never do it again.
Not against
when the pressure's on him.
Against the best team for the past
Could never
decade.
do it against the best team. could never get drafted into the NFL.
Oh,
wait for it.
Go ahead.
Could never start for an NFL team. Could never win on NFL. I swear to God, Clint, there are going to be people at some point in history who are going to say the words, Stetson Bennett will never be an NFL Hall of Famer.
I swear to you,
how far is it going to go?
Look, and
how far are we going to take it?
We're not projecting that to happen, but here's what
I'm not saying he's going to be in the Hall of Fame.
We're telling you, if you say it, you're an abject moron because literally it percentages. Every time somebody has said, this guy can't do it, he went and did it. So if you're taking his track record and applying it elsewhere, you're the idiot in the room. You're the moron saying
it doesn't. Who else gets held to the most moving target standard in the history of the world, where soon it will just be, well, Tom Brady's better than him.
That's
like, and that'll be like, if he were the second greatest quarterback in the history of the NFL, I'm not saying he will be. He won't be. He won't be. He won't be.
Sure.
If he were that,
okay,
there would be Alabama fans out there holding Tom Brady's jock, saying Stetson Bennett will never be Tom Brady. Like, that's the standard that this kid gets drafted in the 4th round.
Yep. And
how many quarterbacks they got out there on that Rams roster?
I was just going to say,
is that room loaded?
I'll work through this really quick.
A quick Google search will reveal it.
Oh, there's 2 on the roster, Daniel. Two.
Oh, where did both of them go to do their schooling?
Well,
Clint.
They both hail from the same university.
Yeah, that's
Daniel.
right.
And they both are coached by what I've been told. Now, I'm not an NFL guy, but I've been told by everybody in the world, Sean McVay is a offensive genius.
I'm trying to ask you a question, Clint. Is Matthew Stafford, may God bless him, this man's done nothing but represented the university with class, with
good
dignity. Is Matthew Stafford in the dawn of his career, is he in the twilight of his career?
Is he long for years left on the old tread?
I'm just here to tell you, Stetson Bennett is starting games for the Los Angeles Rams. I don't know if it'll be this season. I hope Matthew Stafford's healthy all year.
I do too.
And if Matthew Stafford's healthy all year, Stetson Bennett is not even sniffing the starting lineup. And maybe week 17 when they're prepping for the playoffs or something. That doesn't count. But in his career, Stetson Bennett will start a game for the Los Angeles Rams. Not because of an injury, because he'll be the starting quarterback for the Los Angeles Rams.
Go listen to any Ram official on this. It's just like, we're going to get to the Eagles here in a second. It's just like Roseman said about the Eagles and of the players that the Eagles drafted. We need to listen to the GM and the head coach. They said, yeah, we just like Kirby, we didn't want to draft him. We'll be honest. We turned on film. We weren't looking at him. And then all of a sudden we started looking and we said, oh no, he does everything we want a quarterback to do. Oh no, Sean McVay, offensive minded guy. Oh no, we gave all the picks. We didn't have round 1, round 2, or round 3 picks because we gave them all away to get Matt Stafford. That's how much we value the quarterback position. Let's also show you how much
your quarterback.
And
with one of your first picks in the draft, you went and took another quarterback. Oh, that's interesting.
That's it.
It must be because he has a, I don't know, plus arm, plus athleticism, plus decision making, and he's won everywhere he's ever been on the highest level.
I hope you know, again, Kirby doesn't need help recruiting, but I'll tell you this right now. Matt Stafford retires. Stetson Bennett takes starting position over next year. Let's say hypothetically goes out in the twilight. He starts quarterback for the Rams next year. Kirby Smart, just every single offensive recruit that comes through, he just puts his arm on the bust of Stetson Bennett. Yeah. And that's all he does. Just no more words.
It was always going to be Stetson Bennett, Clint, but there are so many great moments from this draft. We got so much more to talk about. We haven't even talked about our favorite NFL team yet, and so we're going to get to that in segment 2. But first, we should probably get back on over to the folks at FanDuel. Shouldn't we, Clint?
We should. FanDuel is the sports book that's official for Locked On Bulldogs and Locked On Podcasts everywhere. FanDuel is great. They are safe. They're reliable. They have all of them over-unders. Go ahead, get that Super Bowl odds right now. Whenever the schedule gets released in a couple weeks, go find the Eagles, go find their odds, and place a
bet money on it.
Bet money. Units, not unit, units, plural. Multiple. And that's where you do FanDuel.com/locked on, because whatever bet you make, if it's the first time you make a bet as a new user and you don't cash that first bet, guess what they're going to do? They're going to give you $1,000 in bonus bets right back into your account. That's FanDuel.com/locked on. Again, they have point spreads. NBA season's happening right now. Major League Baseball is going on. If you're deranged like us and you bet on baseball, God help your soul, just like we need every single day because we're sick, depraved individual. FanDuel.com/locked on. New users get a bonus bet of $1,000 back into their account if their first bet does not count. No sweat first bet. FanDuel.com/locked
on. The Philadelphia Beagles, as I like to call them, drafted.
See what he did there?
Several. I'd say, I just call them good players, Clint. I wouldn't really necessarily matter where they went to school.
I don't care.
We're talking about they dominated the draft. The Philadelphia Eagles came out here and sat on everybody, like the big kid on the playground, and just said, "I don't know what you think you're trying to do, but this is where I am."
Do you guys have that friend that overthinks everything?
Yeah,
right. Well, what do I want on the menu tonight?
Oh, gosh, but if I have this, I had this last night, I might be going there tomorrow.
They have really good... I really want to know their kid. Look, here you do. You go and you find the best thing on the menu. What does everybody else order? Everybody else is ordering the fajitas because guess what? I'm going to get the fajitas. I don't care anything else. That's Howie Roseman, what he did with the Eagles. He just looked around and said, Who
are the best players?
I just want the best players. I don't care about anything else. Do you realize, again, this is the draft strategy that's worked for every single NFL team that has gone and won Super Bowls, is all they do is they acquire talent. That's it.
You mean like when the best defensive player on the board is available at 9?
Drops to you. You run to the podium. Jalen Carter is the best talent in this year's draft. It's not particularly close.
Atlanta sports fans, talk to me about why he was available at 9. I dare you.
Look.
I dare you.
Look, Daniel, we don't have time for
your favorite NFL team drafted a kicker in the 4th round and didn't even have the worst draft of any NFL team. That's how bad the Falcons are. We're not talking about them. We're talking about Nakobe Dean.
Come on.
Jordan Davis.
That's 2.
Jalen Carter.
That's 3.
Nolan Smith.
Oh, you're not done.
Keely Ringo. Those are 5 defenders from the University of Georgia who might start on this year's Philadelphia Eagles defense.
I'll tell you this right. I'll tell you this right now. Niners went ahead and picked up that D tackle from Philly that left, paid him all that money. And again, the Eagles said, well, we have a giant hole in our defense.
Eagles said, where have I seen 99 and 88 lined up next to each other with mild success? Those 2 guys are going to be playing next to each other, Clint, for the next 5 years in Philadelphia. Can you imagine how dominant they're going to be up front?
Now, again, let's continue this, Daniel, because Nakobe Dean was the best linebacker in all of college football when he was there, scraping sideline to sideline behind who again?
Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter.
Okay, so let's go ahead and let's accentuate everything. Let's fill a need. Let's also pair 2 guys together that have great success together, and then let's give the guy behind him who had success the same exact recipe he had success why we drafted him in the first place.
And then you just stick Nolan Smith over there right next to him like he never left, Clint. Like he never left.
The Eagles said we had 4 players with 10+ sacks. We're not happy with that. I want more.
Send me the jersey. I'm ready. I'm in.
I'll wear it.
I'm in on Philadelphia.
Look,
They got the best quarterback in the NFL. Jalen Hurts, built by Oklahoma.
Sure.
They've got weapons everywhere. They went out and traded for DeAndre Swift. Clint, this man is infatuated with the University of Georgia, the likes of which I haven't seen since Vern Funquist.
Now again, he is infatuated. Let's go back to something we've said about draft picks. They are all lotto tickets. What Roseman has said is, I'm going to get the highest percentage chance of hitting. That's all I'm doing. And where do I go for that? I go for on-field production, professionalism, and development that's I've already seen. Past success indicates future success.
I want people who want to win.
And
give me winners.
Guess what?
The Philadelphia Eagles have the most exciting team in all of NFL football, and it's not even remotely close.
No.
I'm here for every single second of it. We've never seen the likes of this before.
This defense,
half the players are going to be from Georgia.
The best college football defense ever in the history of college football are now all playing together in the NFL.
This is the kind of crap you do in Madden, Clint.
This is.
You just try to piece it together in Madden. Now you just get Madden and you just be the Eagles. That's all you have to do. You don't have to do anything else.
My job is...
The work's been done for you.
This is fantastic. We're going to come back after this, maybe talk some negatives of the draft, but first these. Daniel, let's ask the question, who did you feel for?
The Indianapolis Colts.
Oh, gosh.
What's the next question?
Oh, my gosh. They really legitimately took him at 4.
The Indianapolis Colts.
They legitimately have the audacity to look me straight in the face and say generational talent.
Well, he's a freak athlete, Clint.
I've heard.
Sure, he struggles with accuracy. Sure, he struggles with decision-making. Sure, he struggles with reading a defense. Sure, he struggles with running an offense. But he's a freak athlete, Clint. Have you heard that he's a freak athlete?
And again, my favorite is this. Well, the coach had great success with Jalen Hurts when he Reclamation Project. Jalen made him into something. No, he didn't.
Oh,
Look at Jalen's numbers when he came out of college. He was prolific. It wasn't a Reclamation Project. It was prolific.
Jalen Hurts, the national champion? Is that who we're talking about?
Yeah. Well,
I'm sorry, because there were like 5 or 6 players drafted off this Florida team, and they went 6-6.
Yeah. Huh.
So we're talking about Jalen Hurts, the champion.
Yes.
And we're trying to compare their college careers?
Well, when I see Anthony Richardson, he reminds me a lot of Dante Culpepper. Okay, go look at Dante Culpepper. You pull up literally anyone's stats. I don't care. You choose. I could take a hamster wheel and put it into an engine of a car and make it look like the car is a muscle car. It doesn't run. Anthony Richardson is the hamster wheel of NFL quarterbacks.
You're talking about Georgia players, though.
Yeah, sorry,
Clint.
I apologize. You cut me
Who
off.
do we feel for? Who landed in a bad situation? I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are on this, because there's a couple people that we haven't talked about yet, but several people actually we haven't talked about yet. I mean, there were 10 players drafted, so we can't talk about them all. I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are.
Anytime any dog goes to Las Vegas, I feel for them. That is a pit franchise.
It's a tough scene out there.
Christopher Smith, Zeus, a pit.
It's a tough scene. Really tough. They're going to be really bad
for a very long time.
Yeah. I mean, Christopher Smith, good for you.
Make your imprint, get paid, and then
try to DeAndre Swift your way out of there.
Sign that second contract elsewhere,
That's what
young
you're
man.
trying to do. Yeah, I mean, I think Christopher Smith is kind of the obvious one. Let's talk about these Pittsburgh guys, though, Clint, because we got a couple. Philadelphia ain't the only place in Pennsylvania love them dogs. People in Pennsylvania, the Quakers, the Amish, love the dogs.
You've confused two groups of people.
Well, they're both in Pennsylvania, and they are two groups of people, both heavily prevalent.
Also, the Pennsylvania Dutch.
The Pennsylvania Dutch love the dogs. I believe the actual Dutch, people from the Netherlands, love the dogs. Prove me wrong. Darnell Washington and Broderick Jones, two offensive tackles, one of whom catches the football, are both going to Pittsburgh. I'm sorry. Now listen, I have a good friend who is a diehard Steelers fan. Stillers fan is how you say it if you're a Steelers fan. The Stillers.
Whatever. Okay, continue.
Diehard Steelers fan.
Okay.
I can't relate. But people in Pittsburgh, Clint, they like this quarterback that they have. They like
really
the kid.
do.
He's from Pitt. He's a hometown kid. They like him a lot. Now, I don't know if you know, do they have any weapons at receiver down there in Pittsburgh? Anybody catching the football now?
Look, I'll tell you this right now. Just go ahead, slip screen left into the field, not to the boundary side. Go ahead and put Broderick over there with Big O offset and have them do a quick one set, release upfield, and go hit a DB as Jorge Pickens goes for 60.
Listen, there's a connection there between young quarterback and young receiver.
There is.
And now you're adding the most athletic tackle in the draft, and it's not close.
No, I'm sorry.
In Broderick Jones. And now you're adding the most freakishly athletic tight end to ever come through college football, potentially.
Yep.
The most physically dominant blocker who has entered the NFL in a long time from the tight end position. Pittsburgh's got a little bit of a stew going.
They
there.
got some things happening. Pittsburgh's doing some things.
I like that situation quite a bit.
Kind of a shocking turn of events. Robert Beal, how you doing, brother?
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you think we had one edge drafted in this? Nah.
Robert
Couldn't be
Beal
us.
goes to the 49ers, which is a little bit of a shock, but honestly, good on you. Warren Erickson not drafted. Kyrus Jackson not drafted. They get invites to mini camps, which is great for them.
I thought Warren McClendon was drafted. I'm sorry. Warren Erickson. You said, I'm sorry. I got my Warrens confused. You're right.
No. McClendon goes to the Rams. He is also joining Stetson.
Yep. Saw that. Yep. Reunited, and it feels so good.
It feels so good.
10 dogs. 25 dogs drafted in the last 2 years.
Yes, sir.
See, what's the difference between Alabama and Georgia?
Is this a riddle? Is this a brain teaser?
Well, the brain doesn't have to be all that teased. It's pretty self-evident.
Okay.
Let me tell you what the difference is not. Schools who have players littered all over the NFL.
Okay.
Alabama, yes, check.
Sure.
Georgia, yes, check. Let me tell you the difference between Alabama and Georgia.
Please do.
Alabama fans, that's what they have to talk about. The NFL talent, the NFL success. Look at how many players we've put into the NFL. But see, what had happened was Georgia also putting up players in the NFL at record pace, a pace that not even Alabama can match.
Nope, hasn't.
And yet we're still doing it right here on the college level as well, Clint. The cupboard, see, is still full. What if I told you that 80% of the 5 stars that have come to the University of Georgia
wow.
From 2018 to 2021, this draft, 80% of those 5 stars have been drafted into the NFL. That's called doing something with what you've got.
Yeah. Daniel, Georgia, all Georgia scholarship football athletes comprise 0.7% of the entire football scholarship landscape in America. Okay, of all college universities, 105 scholarships, 129 0.7%. Yet in this draft, 3.5% of all players taken were UGA. Now 3.5, you're like, okay. But if you understand the sheer volume of this, of all college football players, close to 4%.
Yeah.
Okay. Of all players taken were from a pool of 0.7% of all college football players. All them 5 stars hitting, 4 stars getting taken. Guys,
3 stars getting developed and taken.
0 stars being drafted.
Let me ask you this. This is just a question for the 199.
Hello, 199. How y'all doing?
Where was Brenton Cox drafted?
Oh no. See, but see, Daniel. But see, you have to understand. You have to understand that he went through a transition, and he had a defensive coordinator leave on him and be fired, and then they went through 3 coaching. But see, no, he.
Let me just say
bad.
this: no one.
He didn't get put on somewhere.
He didn't get drafted.
No, I understand that. I was seeing if he signed a unrestricted free agent deal.
No one leaves the University of Georgia and makes a positive business decision in doing so. Do you see that, Clint? Do you see that no one does that? No one says to themselves, the grass is probably greener elsewhere. Leaves the University of Georgia, and that ends up being a positive outcome for them. Now, I'm not wishing ill on people like A.D. Mitchell. I'm merely stating a fact. Ask Jermaine Burton. Ask Brenton Cox. Ask Tyreek Stevenson.
Oh, no.
Ask people
Brainy.
If it's a good business decision.
It's not.
It never is. Because do you know where you go if you're a young man who plays football and wants to make money doing so?
It's what we call a bookend, by the way, in the business.
Bringing it around.
Just
professionals. You understand the level of professionalism here on this podcast. You go to the King Kirby and the University of Georgia, and that simply is the fact. That is it.
And he then turns you into the best at your profession.
It's sort of the opposite of the New York City song. If you can't make it at Georgia and you have to transfer out, you can't make it anywhere.
No, you're not going to make it many places.
You're not going to make it. So,
Brenton Cox, by the way, not signing anywhere.
Well, you hate to see it.
You do.
That's not going to do itself.
No. This has been Locked On Bulldogs, part of Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. We'll see y'all back tomorrow. We have more draft for upcoming season. We'll see you guys then.
See ya.